All right, so today we are going to juice. I've been on a juice cleanse and I'm going to make probably about 2 days worth of juicing, and it's so much better, I think, to juice at home rather than to go someplace else and get it. Why? Number one, because I save money. I pay half the cost, if not less, and I get to control my vegetables and I get to control the portion amount. So as you can see behind me, these are the juices that I've been drinking lately, and this is an apple ginger lime juice, and then this is what I like to call a swamp juice. It's a green juice, and that is kale and cucumbers and parsley and all the greens that you can imagine. And then this is a carrot ginger lime juice. And then we have some cabbage juice right there. And then we also have a celery juice. So I want to show you the ingredients that I have. All right, so here we have today's bounty. I went out and I happened to go, if anybody is in the East Bay and they know the El Cerrito area, there's a place called Ranch 99, and this is where a lot of times I get all of my fresh vegetables. And I end up paying probably about a quarter of the price if you were to order it from someplace else. So we've got our green apples, and we've got our limes, we have 2 heads of cabbage, and then we've got our oranges. Oh yeah, I'm going to go ahead and make some beet juice too. That'll be nice, the beet juice. We'll do some beets with some lime. I might throw an apple in there. And then a little bit of ginger. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do with that one. And then we've of course got all of our carrots. We'll do some carrots and some lime. Maybe we'll have, maybe I'll look for a lemon if I have that someplace. And then we've got our cucumbers here. And then I also have my greens. So these greens were really dry, and so I'm soaking them in the water so they hydrate a little bit more and they're easier to put through the juicer. But here's my kale, and then on the bottom I have my parsley. All right, so that's for the swamp juice. And then let me show you my jars. I'm just moving shit around. It's the weekend, and as usual on the weekend I am batching something because I like to do grab and goes as everybody else does, but I'd rather make it myself. Like I said, I get to control how much and when and the ingredients. So let me show you the canning glass jars. Here they are. I've got them all set and ready to go, and they are different sizes. And here we go, so you can see them. And I always make sure that I have my lids before I start to make my juice. And so I just use, I use these over and over again. I don't use these once. I use them until I see that the seal is no longer good. It might be cracked. Sometimes if you haven't used it for a while and it has water on it, you could see a hint of black, which is kind of moldy. So I use these, I stick them in the dishwasher, and they work well. I like to use these little glass jars because I can grab these and put them in my purse. Make sure that the lid is on tight, and I take this, and so I have it with me in the car, or if I'm on a job someplace or ready to meet a client. And then I have the bigger one that I leave in the refrigerator, and I usually drink these in the morning and in the evening. All right, what else could I show you? How about we take a look at the juicer that I'm going to use? That's all so important, and I've used a lot of different juicers, but the one that I really like, and it's just my own personal preference, as I like the Hurom. That's this, and it is a slow juicer. So it's a slow juicer, and I just like it. It does the job for me. I happen to get this wonderful juicer on Craigslist. I was looking around for juicers, and they were extremely expensive for me at the time, and I thought, all right, let's see what's out there. When somebody said that they had this juicer and I looked at it and it was a Japanese brand, I thought, okay, let's try it. And it's been wonderful. It's almost time to change the blades, but let me show you. So this one, and cleaning this is super easy, all right? That goes right in. And then I have this big pulverizer, and this turns slowly around, and then I have an inner filter. And then it comes out on both sides, and I have cups to hold everything in. So it's all good. All right, so I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna make all of the juices so you can see how long it takes me to make it. And some people don't want to spend the time making their own juice, but you know, if it saves you 3/4, 50, you know, half to 3/4 of the cost, and you have more quantity, and you get to control what you buy and where you buy your produce, right? You could use, you could buy produce from your farmer's market or directly from your farmer, or you might go to Safeway, or you could go to Whole Foods. Doesn't matter, but take the time, you know, turn on some music in the kitchen, or crack open your iPad or your laptop, I mean, and then take out your iPad and turn on a show and just cook for a little bit. Make your juice, you know, you'll thank yourself. All right, let's get started. So we finished juicing the cabbage. Let me show you from one big head of cabbage. This is how much we have. And this is probably going to fill up one of those large containers. I'm going to pour that in a moment. And then here is all of the remains. Look at that. So little. I could put it, let me show you. Basically fits in one hand. This is the pulp. That's the pulp from one head of cabbage. Now, I hate to be wasteful, so if you're not going to throw this in your green your composting can, then I personally am going to try and do a sauerkraut out of this and see how it turns out. Why not? Because I'm going to be juicing carrots pretty soon, and those two might work well together with some onions, and then we'll put it in some vinegar and some salt. So we'll see what happens. See our bounty. Look at that. This, I believe, is maybe that's 1.5 quarts. That's 2.5 cups, roughly. All right, this will be my little snack drink, and this will be my reserves. And I'm sure that you're saying, oh my goodness, cabbage juice, it's disgusting. But when you have good cabbage, try organic first if you're able to find reasonably priced organic. But it actually tastes very sweet. At least to me, it tastes sweet. So if you're a beginner, you're just going to have to make sure that you drink this cold, because if you drink this warm, it is not going to taste good. I always make sure that I have some cooled cabbage juice. And I love cabbage juice because it is really good for the gut. And since I have a sensitive gut, anybody with IBD, irritable bowel syndrome, or Crohn's or colitis, like me, I have colitis and diverticulitis. So this doesn't bother me, but make sure before you try anything that you talk with your doctor about it. Your doctor might say that it's okay. You might have to dilute it with a little bit of water, depending upon what the sensitivity is with your stomach. All right, so that was easy peasy cabbage juice, right? So one cabbage cost me $2.49, and this is how much I got. That's a pretty damn good deal, I would say. Now, for those of you that cannot stand drinking a cabbage or a celery or some of the other juices because it's too pulpy, this is what I use, my handy strainer. So I'm gonna go ahead and strain this so you can see exactly what I do, so that way when you drink it, it really is a smooth juice. Extra pulp. All right, so next up is carrot juice. We're gonna make some carrot juice. Carrot, ginger, and lime. All right, so we've got our bounty. We're working through our juicing. So we just finished juicing, and I want to show you what we have. So here is all of our carrot juice, which is fantastic. And here's the pulp. Now I had 2 containers of pulp. 2. That's a lot, right? So I really don't want to waste this. So some of the ideas, number 1 is I make my dogs dog food. So I use carrots. And what I do with those carrots is after I juice, then I just put it in a plastic bag and I freeze it, because then I can pull it out and I can make my sweet dogs dog food. All right, so let's see how much goes into a glass jar. Pretty good, right? That's one big one. I could use a little container. If I want a quick drink, a quick shot, or I have this, right? I could fill this one up, and I can also take this with me. It's a grab and go size as far as I'm concerned. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go ahead and take this and we're gonna strain it one more time. I know that might be a little bit high maintenance for some people, but when I'm juicing, I like to have pure juice and I'm not into the grainy stuff. All right, so that's just me. You can leave it in there. Leave your pulp in there. No big deal. So we'll move on to that step. So the next juice that we're going to make is one of my favorites. Actually, they're all my favorites, otherwise I wouldn't be making them, but this one is so delicious. It is green apple with lime and ginger, and it is amazing and super easy to make, of course, as everything is that I like to make. I'm using 5 green apples, extra large green apples, and 3 limes, and probably about a knuckle to a knuckle and a half of ginger. You can use less ginger. You don't have to use ginger at all. You can also go and use some herbs. Perhaps you'd like to put some basil in the juicer as well, and if not basil, maybe you'd like some mint. It gives a nice hint to your apple juice, so maybe we'll do that next time. So here we go. That was so simple. The best juice ever. An apple a day, keep the doctor away, isn't that what they say? And ginger is so good for you, and so is lime. Let me show you all of our juice. Look at that. That's fantastic juice, so delicious. Here's our pulp, right here. It's a good amount of pulp. So, how could we repurpose this pulp? Now, if you had peeled the apples, whatever pulp remained, you could go ahead and make an applesauce out of it. But you could go ahead and you could put this in a smoothie. I could go ahead and put this in my dog's dog food. I could go ahead and try and put this in like an apple muffin. I would go ahead and put this in the food processor and really blend it up so it's super, super fine. But you could cook this down first, cook it down a little bit, and then go ahead and use it. Or what you could do is season this with a little bit of coconut sugar and some cinnamon and mix it all together, and then you could go ahead and put it on a dehydrator so that way you could have some healthy snacks. Dehydrated apple with cinnamon, and you can also put some honey on there. It doesn't matter, but think about how you can repurpose this. So in the jar it goes. I know that I'm going to have to drink this right away because it's so good. I don't want to wait. All right, we have that one that's full. And here's our other one. Woohoo! Foam and all. The foam will start to, not evaporate, but the bubbles will meld into the juice. So look what we have from 5 extra large green apples. So this is apple, lime, and ginger. You know what? I gotta taste it right now. Yep. Good, 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 good. It takes a little bit of time with the chopping, but so what? It's healthy. You saw how quickly I made this. If you took another 5 minutes, you could have had another probably 3, what would you have? 2? You could have 3 to 4 more glass jars. So that's kind of nice, right? So think about it, and I make the juice according to how much I think I'm going to use for the next couple of days. So that way the juice doesn't just sit in my fridge and goes bad, and then I won't want to drink it, and that's a waste of money. All right, so there you have it, nice and easy. I'm going to make another juice. So when you make your beet juice and when you're chopping your beets, you'll notice, look, it's going to bleed red. And your carrots, when you do your carrots, it's going to bleed orange. So just know you're going to have to scrub your hands a little bit. You might have to clean out your sink with some Ajax, so just be aware of that. All right, so let's get to making this beet juice. All right, so the beet juice is finished, and I want to show you how much we made from 2 beets. Look at that. It doesn't look like a lot, but it does a lot for your body. And then here is the leftover pulp. That's a good amount. So again, it's about repurposing. Have you ever had beet salad? I'm sure that you have, or maybe you've had plain beets. Well, you can have these raw. It makes a really nice dish. All you have to do is a little salt, pepper, some lemon, a little bit of olive oil. You could put some onions in there, or maybe you could put some scallions in there. You could also, instead of the onions and scallions, you could go ahead and mix some dill through this, or you could put some caraway seeds in. Play around with the flavor of your leftovers and see how you could repurpose it. You could make some borscht. I think borscht has beets. So just because it has a different consistency doesn't mean that you cannot use it. So check that out. And here, look at this. Amazing, right? Again, for some people it might be too much to take, but you know, if you try new things, the more you try it, the more you might like it. And if it's way too strong for you, you could go ahead and dilute this with some water. But this should make about 1 jar. There we go. All right, so now when I want to mix things up, I can go ahead and have some beet juice. And for those of you that don't like pulp, you can go ahead and use that strainer method that I've showed you in other videos. Me, on the other hand, I like it no matter how I get it. Beet juice is so good for you. Your liver is going to thank you as well. And I have to go and wash my hands. All right, I'm going to make another juice video. I think this might be the last one in the series, and then we'll move on to others. The next juice we are going to make, it's going to be a juice that I don't drink often. I don't like to drink a lot of acids because of my stomach, but I had 2 oranges, I had a lime, and I had an apple. So I'm going to use this as a treat. So this will probably make 1 container of juice, and I'll be able to have a little bit, maybe over the weekend. I don't know, but I'm going to save that as a special treat for me, and then I'll see how my stomach does. But again, it's easy. Oh, you know what I forgot? My ginger. I have to put some ginger in it too, because I'm addicted to ginger. I love ginger. You can leave it out if you don't like it. And if you don't have a lime, use a lemon. It's just as good. I'm using a green apple, but if you have red apples, use red apples. It's just as good. All right, let's go make it. So here we have our delicious orange, apple, ginger, and lime drink. And I have, this is one of my last 2 jars, so I think this is going to be it. I initially was going to go ahead and make my swamp juice, but I think that's going to have to keep for now because I'm running out of containers. But let's see. That's a nice pour. Look at that. That is perfect. and then this is the pulp content. Think about how you could repurpose this. It's just, you know, your oranges, your apples. If you don't want to repurpose this, if you can't think about how you could do that, make sure to put it in your composter. All right? And this one, frankly, I need to taste this right now. That is so darn good, you guys. Super, super delicious. This is going to be my special treat. I'll see how it works on my stomach. Look at that. We have a lot of juice. Not necessarily this one, but if you were following the whole series, we made a lot of juice, and it took me about, I'd say, an hour and 15 minutes. And everything that I bought, I think it cost me about $14 for all of the ingredients. Okay, $14, and then I'm going to show you all of the juices that we made, and you're going to be amazed. So we've had a successful juicing moment. We've made a lot of juices, and let me show you. And it's a lot of juice that we got for, and here's my receipt. We did not use one cabbage. I only juiced one, and we had 2 cabbages. So all of this juice here cost about $22. And let me show you my receipt. I want you to see it. Can you see where it says $24.78? But my cabbage up there, I deducted that. So I'd say that was pretty darn good. Don't you think so? Let me show you what we got. It's fantastic. Just look at all of this glorious juice. We have our beet juice. We have our orange apple juice. We have our cabbage juice, the bigger one in front. We have our cabbage juice. We have our carrot ginger juice. And then we have our delicious apple juice. Look at that. Voila! That is amazing. Don't you think so? I mean, come on. Normally, what I would be doing is I would be juicing, and I would crack open my laptop, and I would, you know, put something on Netflix or, you know, Comcast, something like that. So I'm entertained while I'm making my healthy juices. So if you tell me that you don't have time to make juice, I call BS. All right, because we all have time. If you go out and you get a pedicure, you have time. If you go out shopping, you have time. If you go out to lunch with friends, you have time. If you go on an extended dog walk, you have time. If you are just vegging in front of the TV, watching the Housewives or whatever it is that you're watching, 60 Minutes, etc., you have time. I'm just saying, we all make choices, right? And for me, the choice is, yeah, I want to be entertained, but I also want to put healthy food inside of me. And normally, just so you know, normally I don't make all of these juices at once. I just wanted to show you how I did it. I'll usually pick 2 juices, and I'll make 2 juices every other day, something like that, and I'll make extra so I can pull from that during the week, especially if I am doing a cleanse, as I'm doing now, and I needed to have all of these juices in front of me. So don't forget that when you're juicing, that you have enough jars. I ran out of jars, and I like to use airtight jars. So I was not able to make my swamp juice, right? That's part of my swamp juice. But what you could do is you could look for a video, and it's called Green Juice, aka Swamp Juice, and I show you exactly how I make my green juice. And then I wanted to show you this. This is what's left over from all of that juicing. Okay, this, that, and this. So I decided, as I was going through the videos, I was telling you that you can repurpose this stuff. All right. If you don't want to make other things out of other meals out of this, put this in your, you know, your compost bin. Most of us have those bins, especially if you're in California. We have those bins. So go out of your way to do that. I put it all in here because I wanted to show you what it looks like. But you see this section? This was our cabbage. We made some cabbage juice. We could take this and ferment it. We could take our carrots with our cabbage and ferment that. We could take our carrots and make carrot cake, carrot cookies, carrot soup, carrot pate. There's all sorts of things that you can make. Here we have our beets. You could make some fantastic beet salad. You can make a beet pate. What else did we have in here? I think that was pretty much all of the usable stuff. So that I wanted to show you. Just be conscious of that. It seems like a waste to throw that out. And then I want to remind you, make sure that you have cutting boards, because when you are working, especially with beets, you are going to stain your sink and whatever else it is that you're cutting on. So definitely use this. And your carrots will also stain it. So I think that's it. Let me see. I did have my juice. I couldn't wait, you guys. I had to make some extra for me, so I'm going to be drinking this. I hope that you make healthy choices. I hope that this juicing video was really, really helpful to you and to your health and happiness. And I'll see you in the next video.